This will be my May update to the tropical garden. Ganera's doing good. I found a Tetrapanix papyrifera rice paper plant on Etsy, however you say it. It was shipped as a bare root, and so it's really like dried out and flimsy. So I planted it and I'm waiting on it to come back alive before I stand it upright. I rescued these two palms from Walmart. These are house plants. This is a Majesty palm, which is not a palm you typically grow in this area unless you're going to do it as a house plant. And this was totally dried out. It had dead leaves everywhere. I clipped all the dead leaves off. I watered it. They marked it down 50% because it was so dead. And it's going to get about an hour of direct sunlight, and then it will sit in the shade for most of the rest of the day. Also, this little guy, an Areca palm. What's the Latin name on this? Dipsus lutescens. So those look really cool when they get big. That one's tiny. So yeah, those are both house plants, so we'll have to move them indoors well before the first frost. Got a couple of Heucheras, and if you look at it sitting here, I think that purple Heuchera looks good in between the Tropicana and then those red begonias over there. I got a couple of these. I think they're called like Wandering Jew or something. They're a Mexican plant, but they look really tropical, almost kind of a succulent. What else? Oh, I got my banana trees. So there's one. There's number 2. Number 3 is across the pond over there. Those were shipped from Direct Gardening, and they've already started to wake up a little bit. They're shipped as live plants. There's a new leaf spear coming up out of there on, I think, all 3 of them. The other thing that came in was my Thai giant elephant ears. A couple of those leaves have died since it arrived. Those are shipped live as well. Oh yeah, this is a Thai giant too. All right, the Mahonia's growing real well. So this is version 2.0 of this garden stream. I had a pretty bad algae bloom, so I pumped all the water, almost all the water out of the pond, just left enough for the fish to stay alive. Also, I had stringy algae all through the stream up here, so I pulled all the rocks out of here, pulled the liner out, blasted it, blasted all the rocks before I put them back in. While I was putting the pump back up here, I decided to stack up some rocks and make it into a little bit more of a water feature. I don't have the rock setup quite dialed in. I want the water to cascade over the front of this round rock and down. It was doing that for a few days, and then something shifted. It's not doing it anymore, but it looks great. Birds come into this stream all the time now. There was a really cool looking bird. Hopefully he'll come back again and I can get him on video. Transplanted some ferns from across the yard. I've got dozens of these sword ferns. They're Pacific Northwest natives here. I've got dozens of them all through the woods. So I've never transplanted ferns before. Actually, I take that back. I transplanted some last fall and they did fine. This is my first time splitting a fern. This thing is enormous, but that's only half of the fern. The other half is still back there in the woods. So I split the root ball in half. Seems like it's alive and well. What else do we have? There's a variegated Daphne. I think it's got a kind of a tropical look to it. What else? I got some trapdoor snails. Those are shipped live too, of course. I just put them in here yesterday, and all but 2 of them have moved There's still 2 that look like they're, I don't know if they just didn't make the shipping or if they're just still in shock from being inside of a box for a week or whatever while they ship them here. But goldfish and koi are getting a lot more active, and I've named about all of them now. So my little white koi, her name is Guiling, and she was jumping out of the water yesterday. She was coming up out of the water. Really cool. The big koi, his name is Guy. Those are Chinese names for Japanese fish, but those Japanese fish originally came from China anyway, so I don't feel bad mixing Chinese and Japanese. A lot of Japanese stuff originated in China. Something else. So I had my Japanese Aralia or Fatsia japonica. I got a second one now, but the big one, I had it over in the garden to where it was getting about 4 hours of direct sunlight, and look at these little baby leaves. They got fried. So I moved this back up here into the shade, and now all it's going to get is just some broken sunlight all day long. Another thing I wanted to show you is I've got bamboo all over the place, and I put it in, most of it I put in the fall, some of it I put in the spring, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for some kind of growth. I read online that new shoots will come up in May, and sure enough, the first new shoots are coming up. This is a Philostachys aurea, a golden bamboo or yellow bamboo. Oh, while we're here, the little mini orchard is doing pretty good. All the trees have come awake and are growing good except for the 2 apples I bought from TSC. They got to be sprayed with some kind of a dormant spray or something, because they should have been woke up and growing for a month or 6 weeks now. My apple trees here, so this one, leaves everywhere. It had flowers everywhere. This one did not have any leaves at all up until a couple of weeks ago, and I think I had aphids or something that were eating the brand new leaves, so I hit it with some soapy water. I've been doing that about once a week, and leaves are growing on it now, so must have been some kind of bugs on there. My Philostachys nigra, it's got a new shoot. My Philostachys nigra Bori has a pretty big shoot. I know this grass is all super tall. My lawnmower broke, waiting on repair parts to come in. But yeah, there's a pretty good comb right there just coming up. Oh yeah, there's another one right behind it. That one's nice and big, if you can see that. Make sure you can see that. Lighting's not very good. There you go. My Vivax timber bamboo has not shown any new growth yet, so eagerly awaiting the first new shoots up on this guy.